same loan art, same unstoppable dew.
From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun.
Hello and welcome tonight. INEC says 1.9 million PVCs collected in Osun State, representing 81.50% of registered voters, while 426,842 uncollected cards remain deposited with the central bank for safekeeping. Nigeria Police deploys over 15,000 personnel across Osun's 13 local government areas ahead of governorship election, strengthening security measures to ensure peaceful and credible polls. Yaga Africa raises concerns over electoral preparedness, security agency neutrality and public confidence ahead of Osun governorship poll, urging authorities to safeguard credible elections. And about a dozen Palestinian households ordered to leave their West Bank property during Israeli military operation to remove Israeli settlers from the area.
In on business news, financial services company forecasts Nigeria's inflation to ease for a second consecutive month to 15.87% in July amid elevated food prices.
On sports news tonight, Ghana urged Cote d'Ivoire 2-1 in Casablanca to qualify for the Intercontinental Playoffs for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup.
From the nation's capital, Nigeria Geological Survey Agency reassures the public that the August 4, 2026 earth tremor in Abuja caused 0 human casualties and no public infrastructure damage.
With less than 48 hours to the Osun State governorship election, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has released the final figures of the permanent voter cards so far collected in the state. INEC, in a statement by its National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Mohammed Haruna, says out of the total 2,339,233 registered voters in Osun State, 1,906,309 PVCs, representing 81.50%, have been collected, with the remaining 426,842 PVCs, representing 18.5%, have been safely deposited with the Central Bank of Nigeria, in line with INEC's established practice. The Commission also notes that some persons with damaged, defaced, or lost PVCs applied for replacement of their cards, with a total of 6,101. Among those who applied, printed, downloaded copies of their PVCs. According to INEC, a table of the PVCs collected, polling unit by polling unit, has been published on the Commission's website. The Commission therefore reassures political parties, civil society organizations, and the people of Osun State of its total readiness to a transparent and inclusive election come Saturday. Now, as the hours, minutes, and even seconds go by, expectations are at an all-time high for both the contestants and the electorate in Osun State. And with just 2 days to the governorship election, the Nigeria Police is ramping up last-minute preparations, deploying thousands of personnel across the state's local government areas to ensure a peaceful and credible poll. Police sources and official statements indicate a minimum of 4 officers are assigned to each of the 3,673 polling units. This figure excludes support from sister agencies. Our correspondent, Emperor Simon, reports.
Over 15,000 personnel of the Nigeria Police Force have been deployed for the Osun governorship election to ensure orderliness before, during, and after the election. Right about now, at the police force headquarters in Osogbo, the Osun state capital, the personnel are being deployed to the 30 local government areas of the state. They are now, as you can see behind me, they are hopping on their van to proceed to their various local governments of assignments. At the moment, Osogbo is peaceful, and the citizens are looking to be able to exercise their franchise without any form of breakdown of law and order. And with the collaboration between the Nigeria Police Force and sister agencies such as the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, as well as the Nigerian military, it is expected that everything will go smoothly and the citizens will be assured of their safety during Saturday's election. From the Nigeria Police Force headquarters in Osogbo, the Osun state capital, Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
Ahead of Saturday's Osun governorship poll, election monitor Yaga Africa has warned of potential INEC logistics, delays and security concerns. Meanwhile, the Osun state government has sued to compel the police to investigate Senator Francis Fadausi over a viral video allegedly inciting violence against Accord Party members. Adding their voices to it, Amnesty International Nigeria and former Chief of Defense Staff General Rocky Rabo have called for decisive action and accountability for any prominent figure making statements that threaten national peace.
Ahead of Saturday's Osun governorship election, civil society group Yaga Africa has raised concerns regarding the actual preparedness, security, neutrality, and public confidence.
Good morning.
Speaking at a pre-election briefing in Osogbo, Yaga acknowledged INEC's progress, including Beaver's deployment and election staff training, but flagged technical hitches recorded during mock accreditation.
Now, if as of this morning, the revised materials have not arrived, and INEC has issued a statement to the effect that they will come in later, it has disrupted the logistic arrangements. So, we anticipate and we are concerned that except extra measures are taken to ensure those materials get to the local governments and the racks get activated early enough, then we might have logistic challenge on Saturday. And our expectation is every mechanism is put in place, that stakeholders also contribute and support the process, because what we are dealing with in this election is unusual.
Meanwhile, the Osun state government has taken legal action, asking the court to compel the police to investigate alleged inflammatory statement attributed to Senator Francis Fadausi.
For me, as a person, anytime...
Adding to the call for election security, former Chief of Defense Staff General Rocky Rabo has called for decisive action, including the arrest of politicians and prominent individuals who, with his fighter statements, threaten national peace.
Anytime we hear individuals who make very inciting comments, I think that such people should be picked up immediately.
Senator Fadausi could also face scrutiny from Amnesty International Nigeria. In its renewed campaign against political violence, Country Director Issa Salusi condemned inflammatory rhetoric, affirming that the organization will challenge what it described as a culture of impunity among politicians.
Anybody who advocated violence, anybody who incited others to kill others just so that he can be in power or his party should win or manipulate election, that person does not deserve any respect, any decorum, does not deserve to even go to any other country. He should stay in Nigeria where he can get away with what he is doing. So what we are doing this time is compiling these things, making a case, an international case, to make sure that these people are brought to justice.
As Osun State prepares for Saturday's governorship poll, the National Orientation Agency, the NOA, is urging voters to come out and exercise their civic rights peacefully. The state director, Adibi Stephen, in a statement says every eligible voter has the right to freely choose a candidate without fear, intimidation or inducement. He also assures residents that security personnel deployed for the election are expected to protect voters, officials and electoral materials while urging political parties, candidates and other stakeholders to reject violence, vote buying and selling. Now, the NOA calls on voters to cast their ballots peacefully and return home after voting, adding that Osun State can set the standard by choosing dialogue over violence, ballots over bullets, and peace over chaos. The presidential candidate of the Allied People's Movement, the APM, for the 2027 general elections has called for issue-based evidence and evidence-based campaigns as well ahead of the elections. Now, speaking in Bauchi State during the APM National Convention, Governor Seyi Makinde says conversations about next year's polls should focus on ideas, evidence of delivered promises, and accountability for leaders who fail to deliver on their commitments. Our correspondent, Hajara Aliyu, tells us more.
The Allied People's Movement APM is projecting a new political chapter as its second elective national convention holds in Bauchi State. Amid colorful performances and chants of party ideals, delegates move quickly into business, approving amendments to the party's constitution and dissolving the outgoing National Working Committee by voice votes.
Do we vote for the newly amended Constitution 2026? Yeah. I ask again, the AGM, do we vote for the adoption of the amended Constitution 2026 of APM? Yeah. Any objection? No. Any objection? No. Motion succeeded.
With INEC officials monitoring the exercise, 27 national officers emerge through affirmation, including a strong representation of women before taking their oath of office. Re-elected national chairman Yusuf Dantelli promises to build an APM Nigerians can trust.
I pledge to rededicate myself to the task of building an even stronger, more cohesive, disciplined and progressive political party, one that Nigerians can trust and identify with. A party that will provide credible leadership, translate the dividends of democracy into tangible improvement in the lives of our people.
The convention also ushers in a new political hierarchy with Bauchi Governor Bala Muhammad inaugurated as national leader.
So I am only saying, sir, we are calling on you to continue doing the good work.
And with the 2027 elections already in sight, the party's presidential candidate, Seyi Makinde, calls for a new standard, one measured by results, not rhetoric.
We want a politics where disagreement does not make us enemies. A politics where opposition is not merely about removing those in power, but about presenting a credible and demonstrably better alternative. And a politics where parties that may not agree on everything can nevertheless agree that Nigeria must work better for its people.
Fresh leadership, fresh ambitions, and a Nigeria First agenda, the APM says it is positioning for a bigger political battle ahead. Hajara Aliyu, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, The National Human Rights Commission warns hate speech, incitement and divisive rhetoric could threaten peaceful coexistence, democratic participation and national stability ahead of Nigeria's 2027 general elections. Please stay with us.
Today, I'm the CEO.
So here is your CEO for a day. She's an amazing individual and she's a worthy champion.
Come where culture flows. Stories live. And the rivers remind us we are one. Beni River Life.
Oh la 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 oh. Every consumer has a right. Oh la 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 la. FCCPC is working.
Now I get a refund and I don't get the service.
Now
I get full information on every product.
Now I check what the price tag and pay the right price. Now
no price exploitation. No anyhow price increase.
FCCPC is working.
In a society where many have degrees, the real advantage is what you do beyond it. At Nile University of Nigeria, education offers flexibility, practical experience, and real-world exposure. Whether you learn in person, online, or both, every step prepares you for what's next. Students graduate with ideas they've tested, skills they've practiced, and the confidence to think differently. Because at Nile University of Nigeria, learning goes beyond the classroom into the real world. We nurture innovation and entrepreneurship, advance knowledge through research, and develop professionals and leaders for an ever-changing world. We create opportunities for individuals and organizations to grow, adapt, and thrive. Because education is defined not only by a qualification, but by the impact it creates. Nile University of Nigeria, beyond degrees.
Welcome back. If you have just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. INEC says 1.9 million PVCs collected in Osun, representing 81.5% of registered voters, while 426,842 uncollected cards remain deposited with the Central Bank of Nigeria for safekeeping. Nigeria Police deploys over 15,000 personnel across Osun's local government areas ahead of the governorship election, strengthening security measures to ensure peaceful and credible polls. Yaga Africa raises concerns over electoral preparedness, security agency, neutrality and public confidence ahead of Osun governorship election, urging authorities to safeguard credible elections. And about a dozen Palestinian households ordered to leave their West Bank property during an Israeli military operation to remove Israeli settlers from the area. We're still talking politics, and now let's head to Niger State, where the African Democratic Congress, the ADC, has unveiled its deputy governorship candidate ahead of the 2027 general elections. The party's governorship candidate, Mr. Mohamed Otagi, announced the candidacy of a former commissioner in the state, Mr. Maman Musa, at a media briefing in Minna, the Niger State capital. Mr. Potagi describes his running mate as a grassroots politician and a vibrant young man with the capacity and experience to deliver on the party's promises to the people. Mr. Maman Musa served as the State Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Water Resources, Works, as well as Budget and Planning under the administration of former Governor Abubakar Bello.
I stand before you to accept the mandate of our great party, the ADC, to be the gubernatorial candidate for the 2027 general election. I accept this call with humility, with prayer, and with full commitment. For too long, our people have waited. Our mothers in the market still cry over high prices. Our graduates are still roaming the streets. Our hospitals lack drugs. Our roads are bad. Our farmers are afraid to go to farm. This must change, and it will change. And we will run a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. This is our ADC covenant with you. Security first. No one should sleep with fear. We will work with security agencies and our local vigilantes to protect every community from Minna to the last village.
The presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Mr. Adewale Adebayo, has unveiled his blueprints to end insecurity, to create massive employment, reform the economy, and generate up to 75,000 megawatts of electricity. Speaking in Abuja at an interactive session with leaders of the Middle Belt Forum as part of his consultation ahead of the 2027 polls, Mr. Adebayo describes the engagement as the first step in his consultations. He declares that his administration will tackle insecurity from the community level while ending government sponsorship or enablement of criminality.
It's few days to the commencement of presidential campaigns, and the candidate of the Social Democratic Party is holding this interactive session with the leadership of the Middle Belt Forum in Abuja.
You are our first port of call.
He considers the engagement as part of consultations for the exercise, as he unveils his blueprint to tackle insecurity and unemployment, among other challenges.
Any government that cannot fix security in a short order has no business calling itself a government. And the Middle Belt has borne the brunt of our insecurity.
Away from the interactive session, stakeholders converge for this roundtable on the 2027 general elections, aimed at deepening the nation's electoral process.
These are all our topics.
The roundtable is conceived as a platform for constructive engagement among critical stakeholders.
Democracy remains the most credible model of governance because those who seek public offices present themselves before the people with the promises, ideas, programs aimed at promoting development and public welfare.
Across many democracies, not only in Nigeria, we are confronted with challenge of declining trust, voter apathy, misinformation, vote buying, election violence, and the growing perception among citizens, especially our youth, that their vote do not make a meaningful difference.
The keynote speaker in his presentation harps on the need for the electorate to reclaim their vote through active participation.
When we allow barriers to stand, we are not just losing elections, we are losing the legitimacy of our governance. We are telling our children that power belongs to the few, not to the many. Reclaiming our vote means reclaiming our power. It means challenging every law, every policy, and every administrative orders that denies a single eligible citizen their constitutional rights. It means moving from passive consumer of news to active guidance of our republic.
The roundtable is aimed at critically examining the electoral process in order to deepen the nation's democracy.
Well, as Nigerians look ahead to next year's general elections, the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, is warning that hate speech, incitement and divisive rhetoric are capable of threatening peaceful coexistence and democratic participation for next year's polls. Now, the Commission, at a press conference in the nation's capital of Abuja, also announced the setting up of a situation room to help monitor threats, hate speech and other human rights concerns ahead of the elections. Our correspondent, Benny Ark, reports.
Thank you very much.
The National Human Rights Commission is holding this press conference to address the rising use of hate speech, incitement and divisive rhetorics ahead of the 2027 general elections. The event is attended by officials of the Commission alongside other stakeholders. The Commission says its intervention follows concerns over recent statements attributed to Muslim cleric Sheikh Sani Yahya Jingir and Senator Francis Fadamwusi, which it says could deepen division, heighten tensions and trigger violence.
The Commission has made categorical statements as a guidance on what these two statements portend for Nigeria. We have not stopped at that. As at today, the Commission has written to the Inspector General of Police, it has written to the Director SSS, it has written to the National Security Advisor, it has written to the Attorney General of the Federation to rein in these people and call them to order and prosecute them.
The NHRC is calling on political leaders, religious and traditional leaders, political parties, the media and the social media users to promote responsible communication and issue-based campaigns. The Commission also urges law enforcement agencies to respond to credible cases of incitement, threat and intimidation in line with the law.
The Commission first calls on the public officials, public actors, candidates and aspirants to exercise the highest level of responsibility in their public statements and political communication. The 2027 general elections must therefore be the contest of ideas, policies, programs, competence, and service, not contest defined by hatred, ethnic hostility, or religious antagonism.
The NHRC says it will continue to monitor developments and document human rights concerns throughout the electoral cycle, while setting up a situation room to monitor threats, hate speech, and other potential triggers of election-related violence ahead of the 2027 general elections. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
Now let's head to the nation's capital for more news and reports. And of course, Gloria Umezoke is standing by to give us the latest from our Abuja studios. Over to you, Gloria.
Thank you, Ayo. We begin in the nation's capital with a caution to Nigerians not to panic over the recent earth tremor in Abuja, which occurred on August 4 because it did not affect any human life, neither did it affect any public infrastructure. And that's coming from the Nigeria Geological Survey Agency. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the Director General of the agency, Professor Olusegun Omoniyi, explains that the seismic tremor traveled a total 5 kilometers in 4 seconds within the business district area of the FCT, slightly shaking public buildings within the areas that it occurred.
NJC monitoring team later carried out an aftershock followed-up assessment exercise within areas that felt the shock to record individual experiences and document proper accounts of situations induced, maybe or not, by the effect of the tremor. The affected areas visited include the Defense Intelligence Agency at Mabila Barrack, Asokoro, the NNPC Tower, and the few buildings within the business district area. In all the buildings and areas inspected by the monitoring team, there was absolutely no evidence
of any structural damage or deformation, as the case may be, nor was there any report of injury or serious discomfort from any person or by anyone living within or around the affected area. Analysis of the waveforms and seismic signal by NGSA described the tremor as a low momentum event having low amplitude and of course low intensity. Very transient shock period that lasted between 0 and 5 seconds.
And not to cheery news, 7 young miners have lost their lives after a mining pit collapsed in Kassa community, Burkin Ladi local government area of Plateau State. The tragedy occurred at about 7 p.m. today, trapping the victims underground while they were working at the site. Residents and fellow miners reportedly mounted a desperate rescue operation, but all 7 victims were eventually recovered dead, while some others sustained injuries. The incident has once again raised concerns over safety standards at mining sites across the state. The Berom Youth Molders Association is calling on the Plateau State Government, the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, and other relevant agencies to investigate the collapse and enforce safety regulations. The association also urged mining operators and host communities to put workers' safety above profit, warning against the loss of young lives in the struggle to earn a living. The association condoled with the families of the victims and the people of Kassa, describing the deaths as a painful and avoidable loss. And still ahead on the news at 10, financial derivatives company forecasts Nigeria's inflation to ease for a second consecutive month to 15.87% in July amidst elevated food prices. Well, that's in business news. Please join us again.
Oh yeah, make with us now. Yes, yeah.
Morning, everyone. Here's to a top day. Here's to living the creamy and delicious life.
We go dance until the morning light. Everything is feeling right tonight. Baby.
Have a top day with Top Cafe.
Come where culture flows. Stories live. And the rivers remind us we are one. Beni River Life.
Make some noise for Stella.
Today, I'm the CEO.
So here is your CEO for a day. She's an amazing individual and she's a worthy champion.
Welcome back to still watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television. Now, religious leaders have issued strong appeals to the federal government to tackle the escalating insecurity and economic hardship across the country. The clerics emphasize that lasting peace requires both spiritual intercession and urgent government accountability. The ceremony was organized by the Northern Christian Religious Leaders Assembly.
Religious leaders from different Christian organizations gather for united prayer for Nigeria, organized by the Northern Christian Religious Leaders Assembly. The meeting meeting featured worship ministration and prayer charge for the nation.
Ask God to guide and direct our leader, the president, and his cabinet. Pray for an election that will bring a transformation in the economy, an election that will bring a radical change in the land.
The leaders call on Nigerians to pray for the nation rather than complain about character as they led the charge for prayers.
The burden of leadership, my friend, is enormous. And I think if the church can recognize that, that will help us a great deal. Let's understand that there is a heavy burden on leaders. But the good news is that through the weapon of effective prayer, changes can happen.
The one that is more rewarding is what you are doing today. Intercessory prayer. Praying for the nation. Praying for the leaders. You are not the type that will be bringing Nigeria down. You are building Nigeria up. The Lord will build you.
The gathering emphasizes the need for national unity, divine deliverance and peace.
We are called to be light to the nation, to be example, to be the salt that will bring a transformation. But we know that even in that, we have no power of our own, that we need the grace of God. And so the greatest resource that we have as Christians is the prayer.
It's our role as religious leaders to pray for the peace of our nation. We should be agents of peace, not agents of division, agents of crisis. So that's my great appeal today. All religious leaders in Nigeria should please give peace a chance. They should be guided by what they will say.
The organizers are pledging to continue to seek divine interventions in the affairs of the nation for national peace, economic stability, and national transformation.
To the health sector, the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pate, says the federal government will strengthen partnerships to improve health care and support for vulnerable Nigerians, particularly persons living with disabilities. The minister stated this during a visit to Karen Majidi community in Abuja, where he inspected the living conditions and healthcare needs of persons with disabilities, including the visually impaired, amputees, and people affected by polio and leprosy. Professor Pate also acknowledged the intervention of the wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who drew his attention to the community and its challenges. He also commended the Tulsi Chanrai Foundation for its efforts in restoring sight to the people affected by preventable blindness, noting that some beneficiaries had undergone successful surgery.
I'm here alongside the Tulsi Chanrai Foundation, which has been doing incredible work trying to rectify the vision of those who have been affected by vision loss, blindness. And I also want to acknowledge Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who also brought my attention to this particular camp. And I came to see for myself the people, the indigent citizens who suffer from sometimes preventable blindness, sometimes not preventable or not reversible blindness, as well as those who are disabled for various reasons. And I was able to see the health workers, to see the good work that is being done. I thank the Tulsi Chanrai Foundation, and we are going to partner to expand these kinds of efforts to ensure that we don't leave the vulnerable and poor Nigerians behind in the efforts that we're making.
This particular camp where we are conducting now has been a very important camp because most of this community, this is a disabled community, and most of them felt that they were blind. When we have initially, Her Excellency, the First Lady has referred 9 of them to the ministry, and when the ministry brought them, we identified that 6 of them can actually see with a small intervention. So when we have checked that, we thought that it is utterly important to conduct a camp so that to identify how many others are actually suffering from avoidable blindness. So that's where we are doing the camp. And we are very thankful for the ministry for the support and also encouraging us to do our work in the field.
Intercompany news. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company Limited SNEPCO vision first initiative arrives Badagry local government area of Lagos State. The medical outreach served as an opportunity for citizens of the area to benefit from the free eye care as well as cost-free treatment for sufferers of other medical conditions.
It is a healthcare intervention designed to bring quality medical services closer to the people, particularly those who may otherwise struggle to afford or access them. From eye screening and treatment to other essential medical services, residents of Badagry turned out in numbers to benefit from the outreach. Representing the Managing Director of SNEPCO, Ronald Adams, the General Manager, Corporate Relations, Abubakar Ahmed, says the initiative is driven by a commitment to reaching people in communities where quality health care remains out of reach.
Every eye examined, every condition detected here today, every pair of glasses provided, and every life impacted represents a step towards a stronger, healthier, and more empowered community.
NNPC Limited's Chief Upstream Investment Officer, represented by the advisor Community Relations Usman Bello, urges residents to take full advantage of the intervention.
Since its inception in 2022, the Vision First Plus program has positively impacted over 6,000 beneficiaries across several Nigerian communities, demonstrating the transformative power of strategic partnerships and purpose investment in people's well-being.
The chairman of Badagry Local Government Council, Babatunde Hompe, and the permanent secretary, Lagos State Ministry of Health, District 5, Dr. Asinyobi Oladapo, commend the partners for taking healthcare directly to the people.
This gesture will forever be entrenched in the hearts of our people. I equally wish to express our profound gratitude to your esteemed partners who have joined hands to make this vision a reality.
Before, it used to be full government, but now you are commercial government. But you have been partnering with SNEPCO as joint venture partner for decades. Now you have brought them to Badagry to see to the health, which is one of the things the governor spoke about.
Launched in 2022, the Vision First Plus program has now reached more than 10,000 people across Nigeria.
For a child with an undetected visual problem, it can mean a better opportunity to learn. For an elderly person, it can mean being able to move around safely and participate fully in family and community life. So these are the real outcomes that make initiatives like this valuable.
And with the partners pledging to sustain the intervention, the message is clear. Quality healthcare should not be a privilege of location or income, and the journey to take it to more underserved communities continues.
Well, that's it from the nation's capital. It's back to you, Ayo, in Lagos.
Thank you so much, Gloria. The Enactors Nigeria National Competition has selected the winning team to represent Nigeria at the Enactors World Cup in Sao Paulo, Brazil, come November this year, granting young brilliant Nigerian students the opportunity to showcase the ingenuity, resilience and entrepreneurial spirit in them before a global audience. The event, which held at the Civic Center in the Victoria Island area of Lagos, brought together student teams from 33 tertiary institutions nationwide to present community projects to judges, business executives and entrepreneurial leaders.
For years, Enactors Nigeria has championed a simple idea: give young people the skills, mentorship, funding and exposure they need, and they can become powerful drivers of change. This year, 33 teams from tertiary institutions across Nigeria converge with business leaders and industry experts, battling for the chance to represent the country at the Enactors World Cup in Sao Paulo, Brazil, in November 2026.
We'll have the University of Ibadan, followed by the Federal University of Technology of Warri.
The Deputy Public Affairs Officer, U.S. Consulate General Lagos, Casey Bumfield, reaffirms the United States' commitment to supporting Nigeria's young innovators and unlocking their potential.
Through the U.S.-Nigeria Commercial Investment Partnership, we are working to deepen these commercial ties
and expand opportunities in the digital economy, infrastructure, and agricultural sectors, among many others.
The competition features early and advanced stage categories, with students showcasing solutions designed around community needs, sustainable business models, and measurable impact.
The active ingredient in cloves specifically exhibits insecticidal effects and will kill mosquitoes on direct contact.
With the final result announced, Ahmadu Bello University Zaria emerges winner of the advanced stage. While Federal University of Technology Owerri tops the early stage category.
Thank you so much for your Federal Innovation Challenge.
Both teams will carry Nigeria's flag to the global competition in Brazil.
Our project is focused on the agricultural sector to solve the pre- and post-harvest loss of tomato in Nigeria. In Nigeria, we have over 50% of post-harvest loss of tomato, and what we've been able to do is to be able to process this tomato into product that can last longer beyond the usual fresh level of tomato.
Our project is designed to reduce the time that is spent on testing, a non-destructive tester. It's also designed to go into places where it's typically unsafe for human engineers to go to.
The event also introduces the Julius Berger Initiative Challenge, rewarding outstanding innovators with millions of naira in prize money. Country Director Michael Ajayi says the initiative is more than just competition.
Nigeria. Enactors is an international non-profit, and for us in Nigeria, we are focused in transforming the Nigerian youth to become more resourceful, more purposeful, and more values-driven entrepreneurial leaders and social innovators.
For Enactors Nigeria, the future belongs not just to graduates with degrees, but to young people with the ideas, courage, and capacity to transform society.
Time for business news with Will Ibom. Will.
Thank you, Ayer. Our economic think tank, financial derivatives company FDC, forecasts Nigeria's inflation to ease for a second consecutive month in July. FDC's market survey and econometric model puts July inflation at 15.87%, down from 15.91% in June. Now, food inflation, however, is projected to rise to 18.29%, while core inflation could climb to 16.81%. Month-on-month inflation is also projected at 1.96%, suggesting that price pressures remain elevated. FDC attributes the headline decline mainly to base effects, with some relief possible as the harvest season peaks, but warns that higher consumer spending in the amber months could put fresh pressure on prices. The Central Bank of Nigeria has raised the stop rate on its 364-day Treasury bill to 17.59%, despite overwhelming demand at the latest auction. Investors submitted 4.4 trillion naira in bids across the three tenors, more than 6 times the 700 billion naira offer. Demand for the 364-day paper alone hit 4.19 trillion naira against 500 billion naira on offer. The CBN allotted 1.26 trillion naira and raised the stop rate by 24 basis points from 17.35%. The shorter dated 182-day and 91-day bills cleared at 16.5 and 16.3% each, both unchanged. The move marks a reversal from the July 29 auction, when the CBN cut the one-year rate by 31 basis points despite strong demand. Now move to the insurance sector, where the National Insurance Commission, NICOM, has cleared 7 more insurance companies under Nigeria's new minimum capital requirements, bringing the recapitalization exercise to a close. The latest approvals take the number of compliant firms to 50, 48 insurers and 2 reinsurers. The 7 include Empo General, Empo Life, Sovereign Trust, Tangerine Life, Alliance in General, Guinea Insurance, and Regency Alliance. The exercise, carried out under the Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Act 2025, is designed to strengthen insurers' capital bases and their capacity to underwrite larger risk. Now we head to the domestic equities market, where we see a sell pressure continuing for a third straight day. Let's Ladi Williams with the details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. So it's 3 consecutive days of profit taking. I would see the market down about 0.2% today, 243,000 for the all-share index, and the market cap moving further away from the 160 trillion level. For the gainers, just like yesterday, International Energy Insurance, that leads the gainers chart today, and also another familiar stock, Nationwide Express, there coming in 9.75% higher, 2 naira 59 cover. Then for the laggards today, just like the previous session, heavy selling in the consumer goods counter, that dragged the market down yesterday, and it continued today with that counter down about over 1%. We see Unilever there topping 10% drop, 118 naira to close. And we see for the market breadth is widely negative with just 15 stocks gaining and 41 decliners. Fingers crossed for the TGIF trade tomorrow.
Fingers crossed, laddie. Well, let's see how other markets across the world did today. And that's business news. I'm Will Ibang. Is back to Ayo for more on the news at 10.
Thank you, Will. About a dozen Palestinian families in an occupied West Bank village have been asked to leave their property behind during an Israeli military operation to remove Israeli settlers. Here's Simon Pusey with more international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Japan's Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi has criticized Vladimir Putin's first ever visit to the disputed Kuril Islands on Thursday as absolutely unacceptable. Russian state media reported that Putin visited Iturup, known in Japan as Etirofu, one of 4 islands in the Kuril chain that are claimed by Russia and Japan. Putin's trip has worsened Japanese sentiments towards Russia, Takaichi told reporters. Maintaining the island chain was a unique territory of Japan, historically and under international law. The countries have been locked in a dispute over the Kurils for decades, and is the main reason Moscow and Tokyo did not sign a peace treaty after World War II. Meanwhile, a massive Ukrainian drone and missile strike on Russia's port of Novorossiysk has damaged 2 major grain export terminals and hit the last big Russian naval base on the Black Sea. 3 people, including an 8-year-old child, were killed and another 24 injured in the overnight attack, according to officials. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said Kyiv had launched rockets, jet and naval drones in a unique operation to strike the Russian base, although he did not mention grain terminals being hit. Ukraine's military leader said 4 Russian warships, including 2 frigates, were hit. Russia has not commented on the issue.
I think it does indeed suggest that Ukraine is respecting at least that request. Novorossiysk, this facility, is a dual-use facility. It has military equipment, military piers landing facilities, ship docks and all that. And it has a large part of infrastructure for unloading oil from a pipeline called CPC pipeline. But interestingly, it was not a request to spare the whole port. It was just a request to spare the oil facilities.
It's now known that at least 44 people have died after a ferry sank on Lake Kariba in Zimbabwe. The ferry had a capacity to carry 90 passengers and 5 crew members, but a lake official had reported that 120 people, including 12 children, were on it. The vessel was hit by a strong wave and overturned. Footage shared online appears to show the overturned hull floating in the water. President Emerson Mnangagwa has declared a state of disaster as search and rescue operations intensify. So far, 77 people have been rescued.
and our country will be made wealthy again. And I think it's insulting that you're trying to test my knowledge of economics.
The White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt will step down from her position at the end of the month, and Donald Trump has announced. Leavitt, whom the president called one of his most trusted aides, will depart from her role to spend time with her young children and family. Caroline will now be one of my top outside advisors and an influential voice within the Republican Party, Trump wrote. Leavitt took the job as the White House press secretary last year, becoming the youngest person ever to have the role. It was not immediately clear who will replace her. France has opened disciplinary proceedings against its top diplomat in the Central African Republic over accusations of misconduct following allegations that he brought dozens of women into his official residence and had sex with some of them. The allegations against Ambassador Bruno Foucheur, which refer to events said to have happened between January 2024 and March this year, prompted investigations by France's foreign ministry into a potential security breach. US Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers may soon be equipped with gloves that can deliver electric shocks as they carry out law enforcement duties. ICE plans to spend up to $20 million to buy the generated low-output voltage emitter. The gloves can deliver up to 380 volts of electricity, roughly 3 times the charge of a standard US power outlet. Civil rights groups, including the American Civil Liberties Union, have expressed alarm over its use. And millions of people across Europe witnessed the most significant solar eclipse since 1999. It was visible across large parts of Europe on Wednesday, with a rare total eclipse seen in Iceland and Spain. A solar eclipse happens when the moon passes between the sun and the earth, blocking some or all of the sun's light and casting a shadow on our planet. As time ticked by, slowly but surely the moon obscured more of the sun, acting like a dimmer switch as it did so. A total solar eclipse happens somewhere on Earth every 18 months or so, but they are much rarer for any given place, only occurring once in roughly 400 years.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. President of the Nigeria Fencing Federation, Adeyinka Samuel, has made history as the first Nigerian saber fencer to win a medal at the ongoing Commonwealth Fencing Championship. The newly elected head of the Commonwealth Fencing Federation returned to the pist after 13 years to win silver in the men's saber veteran category, facing seasoned rivals from Wales, Australia, and Nigeria.
I don't know if I'm in shape. I won't say I'm in shape, but it's good feeling. The first 2 bouts, I was still sort of asleep and I wasn't fencing well, but I think from the 3rd bout on, I sort of picked up and sort of finding my form, but I still need to work on my fitness. Oh, I didn't realize I've won a medal. Okay, that's amazing. No, I've always wanted to win a Commonwealth medal. I think that I participated in 2 Commonwealths, 2006 and 2010 in Australia, and I just missed out on a medal. So for me to win a medal now, as a veteran, I'm ecstatic, and I'm looking forward to win. I'm going for gold.
And Ghana came from behind to defeat Cote d'Ivoire 2-1 and secure a place in the FIFA Women's World Cup 2027 Inter-Confederation Playoffs after a dramatic CAF Women's African Cup of Nations playoff in Casablanca earlier today. The Black Queens trailed after just 4 minutes at the Labi Zuli Stadium when Ines Conan converted a penalty to give Cote d'Ivoire their perfect start, but Ghana produced a determined second half response with Princess Mafo equalizing in the 59th minute before Josephine Bonsu scored from the penalty spot in the 72nd minute to complete the turnaround. Meanwhile, it's a different case for the Super Falcons, as the hope of playing at the Intercontinental Playoffs for a sport at the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup has just been eclipsed. The 10-time Women's African Cup of Nations champion lost to Bayana of South Africa by 2-1 in Casablanca. And President of the Confederation of African Football, Patrice Motsepe, says Gianni Infantino's future should only be decided by elections after Ireland becomes the latest federation to withdraw their support for the embattled FIFA president. Infantino is fighting to save his job after a barrage of criticism for his aborted plan to sell stakes in the World Cup to private investors. The governing bodies of European football, UEFA, North and Central America, CONCACAF, and Asia AFC stepped up the pressure on Infantino in a joint letter this week declaring football belongs to no individual. That's sport. It's back to you, Ayo.
And the main news again. The nation's electoral umpire, INEC, said 1.9 million PVCs were collected in Osun State, representing 81.5% of registered voters, while 426,842 uncollected cards remain deposited with the Central Bank of Nigeria for safekeeping. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balukun from everyone here. Have a good night.
It's showbiz o'clock, so trust us to be on time. This is Entertainment News on Channels Television. I am Kenny Akiwumi. Coming up on the program, Davido takes over London for his first live Royal Oria Day concert. We step into the world of fashion for an